seconds.
Yeah, look, there we go. The 3, 2, 1-ish did it, and we are now live. So let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are your first choice for Transformers news in Australia. This is episode 125. We are recording live on September 29th, 2017. This week, I'm your host. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Brad and Max. How are you doing, guys?
Evening, gents. How are we going? Hi, Max.
Very well. I'm officially on holidays, so I'm doing really well.
Oh, yes, you're another person that doesn't like to work.
I like to work, but I work quite hard. So I'm happy I'm on holidays because I will be absent next week from the podcast. I will be in San Francisco, so I'm very happy about my life for the next week, actually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like work, but I like money an awful lot. So
this is the eternal trade-off.
Yeah.
Brad, how do you like work and money?
I like work to get money. I don't like staying at home for stupid public holidays that don't need to happen, but some people want to take the day off and it just screws us all over. But
some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Apart from that, it's interesting week. We had the Melbourne meetup last weekend, which was great. Sadly, I didn't get to bowl. You're gonna have to talk about that a little bit more. Oh, you didn't get to bowl? Yeah. No, I didn't get to bowl. We booked 2 lanes and was sort of umming and ahhing whether or not we had enough attendees that wanted to bowl. And when I called for those that wanted to play and pay up, everyone did. And I said to Simon, hey, there was 12 of us there, and 8 of us there, and 6 of us need to bowl. And I said to Simon, we're not going to be able to play ourselves because everyone else has said they want to play 2 games. So we commentated and videoed and everything else and let everyone else play, and it was quite enjoyable. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, at least everyone had a good time, right?
Yep. So we had a couple of sharks there that were talking big games. Their games didn't really come out at the end, but
they really do.
Yeah.
So come on, name and shame them. Who are the guys whose games did not stand up to scrutiny?
Well, Chris, sorry, Chris, but he was. Well, there was issues because where we were, they weren't really competition lanes. They were shorter, they were narrower. The pins were pulled up with strings instead of being scooped away and picked back up. And we had a few instances where the ball hit pins and they'd wobble and the string would keep them upright. So there was some issues.
All I hear was blah, 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 technicality.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry technicality, but it's a great venue. The Kingpin Bowling down there in Melbourne at Crown Casino, they've just renovated everything, and it was a fantastic night. I couldn't believe I was paying $8 for scotches all night. That was cheap. That was cheaper than the local pub out here in the country, and it was just all sold. So we gave away some figures, we gave away some medals, and it was a great night.
Sounds fantastic. Now, so I think there's another party going on in Queensland this weekend as well.
Yep, Queensland's this weekend, and Perth is next weekend.
So it's like a month-long party being a part of the Transformers Collectors Club Australia. So go hopping around the country and go attend some parties. Yeah. Now, should we get stuck into some Take Your Butt to Work Day reveals, winners? You mentioned the man already. Simon Chambers was the winner for the Take Your Butt to Work Day competition this week by placing a few Seacons in the part of his freezer that is for silver whiting. Seems appropriate.
I'm glad that stuff's pre-packaged because those Seacons would be destroyed forever.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's ballsy. I wouldn't be game to do it myself, but it looks fantastic.
I think it's fine. I think you might find that there's actually like a top on that container.
Oh yeah. But even you open that sliding glass cover on that freezer, and I'm sure just that yummy smell of sea crap just would waffle off.
So what you can't see is Simon is actually in a protective hazmat suit behind the camera taking the photo. So it really is okay. He's quite safe from the smell of sea.
Yeah, I think the 3 different varieties of squid, the prawns and the pippies, would be enough to skunk out any figure.
Yeah, look, you need to be specific about your squids, don't you? Or the squid heads, as the case may be. All right, I've had enough. I can't do it anymore. Also, so the blue bait, like I can just see the fish eyes following me around the room no matter where I go. To say nothing of the sea cons.
Oh.
It's creative stuff like this that always wins.
It does. It does. So nice creative work, and also he's also tied it into the food theme somehow, in a way.
Yeah.
So take your bot to work day.
Just as bad as McDonald's.
Take your bot to work day is your chance to get a bot out from behind your glass or otherwise unprotected cabinet, and take your bot out into the real world and take a photo of them, or uncombine them and place them all in a freezer, awaiting for disaster to happen, as we've seen this week. So do come along into the group on Wednesdays and have a go. Just take a photo. Take a photo of a bot that's outside of its display cabinet. You can pose it as much as you want to, or as little as you want to, and see where you end up. I think it's time to talk about some news. We've had a couple of very lean weeks on news following HasCon and the like, and this week it's back. There is a bumper load of news this week.
Yeah, it's sort of nothing really. There wasn't any big conventions or anything. We've just got everyone's putting out images of stuff. So there's a lot to talk about.
Third parties decided to
this week because TFCon is on.
Yeah, third parties decided to tip the hat back into the news cycle again too, with some bots that we'll get to.
Yeah, it's sort of like all the third parties were sort of hiding in the shadows, waiting for Make Toys to decide what they were going to do with Galaxy Media, and now they're like, all right, they're back.
Yep.
So shall we get underway this week? Some comparison photos emerged, finally showing us the differences between Hasbro's Titans Return figures and the Takara versions of the same. Now, I'm pretty sure in these cases you will find the Hasbro version of the figures on the left and the Takara versions on the right. You can usually tell this because Takara has a lot more detail in their paint jobs. Although actually, just looking at Nor and the Sharkticons here, it sort of looks like the amount of detail in the paint job is kind of even. It's just split in different ways, and Hasbro's used less colors.
Takara definitely looks a lot more vibrant.
Yes, Takara does look vibrant, but I kind of feel like Hasbro's done a better job of matching the G1 toy colors.
Yeah, I suppose that it has that more muted feel to it, but then you also feel like the color distribution of the Takara one is more accurate, but the actual color palette is more accurate on the Hasbro version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm far happier paying what I did for the Hasbro version than the Takara ones.
It sounds fair. I actually kind of like the fact that the limbs are not blue on the Takara one, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? We also have a look at Hot Rod, or the Target Master Hot Rod as he's named on the package. Now, the Takara version of Target Master Hot Rod is a little bit controversial because of the see-through bonnet. And the see-through bonnet is also sort of come at the cost of the engine piece there for Hot Rod, which I believe, is that actually a part of his Target Master weapon on the Hasbro version, or is that just ornamental?
I think that's just mold detail.
All right. So that's like it's a lot of mold detail that's just sort of gone bye-byes there. But the interesting part of this, I think, is the extra detail that Takara has gone to sort of is only really visible on the arms and that see-through piece on the bonnet, which would have actually been quite a lot of work. And also, they actually, if you look at it, they actually do have a more full bonnet on their figure, whereas Hasbro sort of has a chunk taken out of him. Besides that, there's a lot of similar paintwork on the top of the arms, but the legs are quite different, and they look much more in line with the G1 toy.
Yeah, the Takara one's definitely gone to that sort of just massive black shoes type of aesthetic that Hot Rod often has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's definitely more accurate. Looking at the MP9 as well, so they done the same thing, but just I love the breakup between the red and the chrome, not the chrome, the grey of the knee vents and the feet and that on the Hasbro version.
I kind of think it's a bit of a shame that his knee pads don't have more detail on the Takara version. They're just black.
Yeah. Like I definitely love that maroon color a lot better.
It's very, very regal, I suppose you could put it. I guess one issue with paint changes to the lower legs is that on the Hasbro one, because main color there is the same red as the kibble on the back of the calves, whereas on the Takara one, the shins are black and the calf kibble is still maroon, so it really sticks out a whole lot more. Whereas on the Hasbro version, it sort of just blends in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Takara designers have basically just gone, well, that's kibble. His legs are meant to be black, whereas Hasbro has just sort of tried to make it blend in more with the colors. Still, and I also quite like the eyes, the sort of obvious blue eyes on the Takara version with the painted crest on the head as well.
Yeah, yep. You got that extra detail there, which is nice.
All right, actually, so what is going on with the bonnet there?
Well, that's a whole placement piece for the Takara, where they've removed the engine piece and made it see-through in an amber color. Whereas,
but look at that, there's actually an engine on Takara's
separate piece
vehicle mode.
I'm guessing it flips around somehow. So sort of just that very top piece. I guess it'd be a pin shot through the top there, so it just spins around.
Well, that's where the target master is supposed to go in the original figure. So
yeah, and there's a 5mm peg on the vehicle mode there. So
yeah,
cool. All right, let's have a look at Cup now. Cup is a character that we've talked about a few times. When I believe when the original look at this figure for Takara came out, the colors were a little bit off, and they now look a little bit closer to Hasbro's with the aqua, but the sort of darker, more muted, more aged color palette. But nowhere is the difference between the Hasbro and Takara versions of Cup more obvious than the face. Look at the face in Takara's one. It's like, actually, in fact, the whole head. In fact, I didn't realize, but it's not just the face, but the whole head is actually different.
I think it's a lot better defined on the Takara version.
It is. He looks a lot more obviously aged.
Yeah, I think it's sort of definitely leaning more into G1, whereas the Hasbro version is more just an ambiguous cup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Takara's also got Takara also has rounded shoulders as well, whereas Hasbro's got the squared off ones. So that's actually like a significant difference to the mold there. And of course, Takara's Cup has a far more realistic looking gun, whereas Hasbro's has the stupid Titan Master one with the place to sit another bot in the gun.
Yeah, it speaks volumes to the difference in the engineering levels that Takara's, which is a Target Master, looks better than Hasbro's, which is a dedicated gun.
Well, it's not a dedicated gun. It is meant to be a vehicle as well. I think I actually feel Hasbro wins on the legs. Like I like the yellow accents on the legs, whereas Takara's sort of again just gone, yeah, his legs are meant to be green and just made everything as sort of dark green as possible or as camo green as possible.
Yeah, there's a fair bit more color separation on the Hasbro version.
Yeah,
but that's them adding paint detail where it's maybe unwarranted. Like there's none of that's on the animation model, so it's sort of they're just adding that.
I think the animation models don't really matter at this point for Hasbro's ones. Yeah.
Well, that's where I just love this Takara one so much more. Just it looks great.
So Takara's actually got a slightly different canopy over the chest piece as well. Besides the amount of detail that's not there, sort of Hasbro's coloured in on the chest. Takara's got a sort of a different detail on the lower part of the canopy where the Autobot symbol is for them.
Yeah.
Whereas Hasbro's is
the very end of it's painted.
I know. I'm not sure that I really like the fact that Takara's Autobot symbol actually crosses over the ridge there as well. I think Hasbro has the better placement there.
Yeah, like, I can appreciate that they've, gone the extra mile in the retooling, but maybe they shouldn't have.
All right, look, I think we might move on from there. There's the group shot of them all together there. There's Nor, Hot Rodimus, Hot Rod, and Cup. Now,
on a Lego base plate. What the hell?
This is actually quite common in a lot of Transformers photos, as people do put them on Lego base plates because they're a sort of a recognizable piece of road for vehicles to go on, and they're about the right size too. Like I've thought about going into places like Hobbyco and actually just sort of buying a few pieces of Lego Street.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal.
I'd like to highlight the fact that on the Nor box, it's listed as having as its alt mode being a futuristic shark.
We've seen the future of the evolution of the shark, and this is it, trapped in a plastic and cardboard box.
To answer the question in the live chat on YouTube, the Megatron on Brad's shoulder is the bad one.
Oh, the bad one. It's the later version.
Percy Constance.
Technically, that does actually make
shoulder angel. Is he the good one or the bad one?
Because we all know that the best Megatron in the Last Night is the Voyager.
Well, yeah, I got that here too, but he doesn't sit as well, so he's lying down.
So that makes this one the good one at sitting.
Yeah, at sitting. Okay. Yep.
Now, just while we are looking at these boxes, looking back at Takara's Rodimus design with the see-through shiny chest and flames, look at how that's presented on the box. That's a little bit different. Actually, we can probably see that better there.
Yeah.
So it's presented a little bit differently there, but yeah.
You've sort of made it look a bit more like the same color as everything else, but just in chrome.
Yeah.
Where the original bot had that sticker, that chrome sticker on his chest, so
it was a chrome sticker, wasn't it? But this one isn't a sticker. This is more.
That's definitely see-through.
Yeah, transparent part.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on. Last week we took a look at some. Look at some unreleased G1 figures and some concept art for them. This week it has surfaced that there is an unproduced Marvel crossovers Iron Man figure that someone's gotten their hands on, and this is he. Now, Brad, you pointed out that we did actually get crossovers Iron Man. I should actually ask who does have Transformers crossovers in their collection, Max or Brad?
Not anymore. I did at the time.
I've had the opportunity to, but they just look so horrible.
Yeah, I can't figure out how Marvel heroes are meant to actually convert into robots.
It involves bones breaking.
Yeah, I had a lot of the Star Wars stuff, more so just for the vehicles. Because personally, I thought they were great looking alt modes for Star Wars vehicles, ships, everything else. The Marvel stuff, Iron Man was a fighter jet that we later got Starscream versions in Dark of the Moon anyway of. Hulk was a tank. Venom was a repaint of that tank, and it went downhill pretty quickly from there. So
they don't. Yeah, if someone actually had put this in front of me after the last story, I would have assumed that this was actually Rodimus.
Yeah.
But so at least he can do the ground punch pose.
Slightly.
It does look like he's about to teeter over, but we'll see. But there's not even any painted detail on his head there. That's the figure looks quite small.
It's a prototype.
Yeah.
Interested in the alt modes of light cycle too. Like it just.
This might be why it never got released.
Yeah. But still, like we talked about unreleased G1 stuff earlier, just seeing what they were planning back in the 2010s, 2011s, just it's weird and funky and interesting to look at. I'm sure if it existed, we'd all hate on it, but yeah.
I think we already do. All right, let's move on. We found this last week, and we didn't really talk about it because I think, did we say he was a convention exclusive? Alien Attack Farage.
No, it was just we had prototype images of them. We were going to wait until we got some color stuff before we worried about it.
And here we are. So this guy fits in quite well into the movie toy range.
He looks like just about a perfect interpretation of Dino from Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, except for that little bit of stuff hanging out under the car body there, right?
Yeah, I did notice that.
but he looks pretty good.
Yeah, look, considering he turns from almost entirely screen accurate robot into an almost entirely accurate car, it's really well done.
Yeah, and just the posability, the accessories, those two whips to haul in a dread. This thing is awesome. I just love the detail on this.
Is this the first time that a third party has actually made a movie-verse bot that looks like it feels at home in the movie?
Maybe because
excluding Wei Zhang.
Wei Zhang didn't make anything that looked like it feels at home in the movie.
There's a whole bunch of companies that have put out pictures of, they've teased the movie bots. Like there's been photos of shockwaves and
I feel like they're starting to come out, right?
But none of them have ever come out. So basically, this guy. And that Unique Toys Lockdown are the first two that actually seem to be definitely coming out.
I'm going to put the request out there now because I know they're watching. I want a Onslaught, Mohawk.
No, not Mohawk.
No one cares about Mohawk.
He's a fun character. It's just the ugliest design to ever.
Yeah, I know. What else? They're the only ones we haven't got out of there. That'll do. Give me an Onslaught. But this looks fantastic. As I said before, the detail, the movie accuracy of it looks fantastic.
It looks like for the first time the huge amount of detail that a lot of third party designs put into their bots is actually justified in this form.
Yeah. Here's one. Give me a stinger. Give me a decent stinger for Age of Extinction.
They might be able to just retool this into stinger.
Yeah,
maybe.
Got similar proportions.
I'll buy 5 of them. I'll get 5 of them.
I'm still just blown away by how much this figure is doing to transform, but is still so poseable. I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I think my only worry here is that the wires on his sort of claw whips might end up.
It's kind of weird too, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's something different from
Yeah, it is something very different. There we are. So the claw hooks could be interesting.
That's an awesome pose.
Be very careful with those, but you know, if they break, you've still got those arm blades. So,
well, surely it's wire. They've got to be wires or something. They can't be just like a loose plastic.
Yeah, it'll be a wire, but wires have a tendency to break as well. Like often, if you get a soft goods cape with a wire running through it, often that'll just snap right out.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, I've had stuff that's been broken in the package already.
Yeah. All right. I
love how I was going to say I love how they're posing here with Crankcase, which was a Dark of the Moon dread, where the Berserker is a far better version of that dread without the backpack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a pretty cool pose there too.
That's lovely.
Let's move on. Let's start talking about some TFCon exclusives. I believe TFCon is happening this weekend, or is it next weekend? I can never quite tell.
It's this weekend. This is the DC one. Is this weekend?
Right. Yes. So MMC has contributed another repaint of Ocular Max Terrigus to become a TFCon exclusive figure, and he's got quite the interesting paint job on this guy.
Yeah, so I guess this is another Paris-Dakar Rally homage.
Well, that's it. We talked previously about the yellow version that looked fantastic, and here we got another dirtied up Hilux, and it just looks great. I love it.
He does look good. You know, I think the more time goes on, I think the more I regret not getting that yellow one. But we'll see. We'll see how I go.
Between the two, I think this definitely looks better. So you might as well jump on this.
Maybe they're both going to be expensive by now. So the thing is that both of them don't really represent an actual figure or a character. So like, I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
But this does look good.
The thing with this guy is the paint. It looks so realistic. It almost looks like it'd be textured. You know, you could rub your finger along it and feel all the little bumps.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like it looks like that, right?
We talked last week about buying bots that don't necessarily have a line, a cartoon, or anything like that affiliated with it. And this is just one of those things where, yes, it's okay. It's using the G1 hoist trailbreaker design or look, but just sort of going off on its very own thing, maybe not its own fiction, but just saying, hey, well, there's this bot. It's dirty. It's a part of a rally somewhere, and here it is.
It feels very much like a designer had something they wanted to do, and they just did it because they figure, all right, if it sells, it sells.
And if you make a bot, you're going to look at repainting it 3 or 4 times.
True. Look, MMC went to a lot of effort last year with their Sphinx repaints at Toronto and was it Chicago for the conventions, and so they had matching paint jobs and more equal and opposite, and they had a lot of transparent pieces on the figure as well, and a lot of detail in their paint jobs. So yeah, they're not afraid of a paint job, are they?
I just love how they went for Cylon head on it. Like,
I think that's isn't that the Diaclone head that they've repainted or something?
Well, that says like Diaclone. I don't think there was a Diaclone version of this figure in there, but
I thought the original Terragis and Artifacts, one of them had a Diaclone face because it was a homage or something.
Well,
anyway,
it's possible. Yeah, I'm not sure. But.
I might be wrong. I might be remembering things wrong, but yeah. So this guy is a TFCon exclusive, which means he'll probably turn up on the ages 3 and up website after the convention. See how you go for pricing.
Also, you should be on Planet Steel Express if you can't find it there.
Yeah, that's true. They get limited amounts of the convention exclusives as well. All right. That's one convention exclusive. Here's another that this came up during the pre-show, and I think I've said in the last couple of weeks on the show I'm not interested in this. I'm interested. This is the what's it called? Shadow Ghost version of Calidus. So MMC has done the proper red version of Calidus. They've done the alternative purple. I think they called it Spectralism when Rodimus has repainted himself in the comics because he's angry about Getaway stealing his ship, and so we've got the 2 real ones, the good guys, and now we've got the bad guy. This is the evil version, the Shattered Glass Rodimus, and doesn't he look great? And he's got that. I'm assuming there's going to be a close up of the face somewhere here. Maybe not. But yeah, he's got that evil mustache and goatee going for him.
It works really well because the aesthetic of the original Calidus mold is it looks like a really youthful type of design, whereas just the way that it's painted and the addition of that goatee makes it look so much older.
It's the Star Trek alternate universe rule, right? You add the goatee and everything changes.
Am I the only one who sees Steven Seagal in that face?
I really hope so, because I saw a picture of Steven Seagal today, and it looked like he ate that face and every face around him. It was pretty amazing. Did you guys not see this?
Is that the one in front of a Kremlin?
Yes,
I've seen some of these latest faces.
I do actually feel compelled to bring this one up, right? Like Steven Seagal, Russia.
Tangent.
Bit of a tangent, but just like Steven Seagal in general these days is, he's kind of looking like a video game bad guy.
He looks like a Bond villain.
Yeah, no, it looks like he doesn't look like a Bond villain. He looks like he's been 3D rendered and poorly textured.
Yeah.
His head just looks sort of wonky and out of place.
Anyway, enough Steven Seagal. Spoiler there as well. The next story, and now I'm lost in my positions in all of these tabs. There we go. Shadow Ghost Calidus. Man, am I going to have to pay another $150 to get my hands on this one?
Yes, you are.
No, so going to, so you have to carry the team.
So I'm just casting my eye over at the shelf where I do have both versions of Calidus up there, and so you can sort of see that they painted the original Calidus in a particular way, and when they did the spectral version of him, they sort of went, oh, you know what? We can actually paint up some of the details on this guy in different ways and bring out some parts that aren't so obvious on the figure in other ways. And then they've just gone, oh, now we can apply that to the black version. So like there's sort of black and grey shared duty going on the abs there. There's much more obvious arrows on his knees, and the black and the silver and purple really works well on his legs, I think.
He's also got some really nice sort of purple highlights on the hood of the car mode.
Yes, that is right. Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. I didn't see that before.
It's a good breakup of the colour. It's not just all black or grey.
It is. And there is, of course, that red canopy as well that, obviously signifies that he's evil, right?
Signifies he's a member of the Justice League?
Very possibly. Now, sticking with some of the third-party figures for a little bit longer, actually, we're going to take a little diversion over to Make Toys, and we will return back to MMC in a minute. But now a message from your overlords. Look at this guy. This is Make Toys Thunder Manus, and he comes with the Divine Suit parts, which form a vehicle around him. And just look at that. That guy looks badass.
Yeah, it's just something else. I mean,
so Make Toys Striker Manus was already really a very impressive figure, and so a lot of the third parties, they go to the Optimus Prime well a few times, possibly a few too many times, and so this will be the I think the third time they've gone there in the Make Toys cross dimension line, because they've done the Striker Manus and Striker Noir. And so now here we are with the sort of the Power Master upgrade to that. But he does look amazing, and he's got just that right amount of detail that identifies him as a bit of a cross dimension figure, with the sort of the texture behind that glass on his chest. And I was talking with someone on Twitter this morning about an unreleased figure that he showed up, and I said it looks like Make Toys cross dimensions, because there was such detail in the legs and the feet, and like this guy has some pretty big feet on him there. And so you can see in that picture there, you can see the parts that sort of form the truck and sort of clip off, and it's all a little bit clever.
Yeah, and if you want to exit that and go to the next tweet, you can see it all combined up.
I will in a minute, but there's this one as well. So this is it all combined up, isn't it?
Yeah, in robot mode.
Oh, was that not this one?
No, with the divine parts on it.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at Make Toys, because I haven't actually got the other tweet open.
Sorry, I thought I linked to that.
Oh yes, and there you go. Yeah. So yeah, there's all the extra parts on there with divine suit and God bomber. So yeah. So yeah, it's made his feet even chunkier.
Yeah, he's gonna have those shin tilts again.
Yeah, he needs to tilt his shins. But yeah, it doesn't look amazing. Also, you know what? So I've actually been constantly quite impressed with the price points that Make Toys is bringing out the cross dimensions figure at. This guy's gone up for pre-order for $125 US.
That's really good. Like,
it
considering
really
how
good.
much you're getting in there.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Now, I gotta say that does not look like a vehicle mode.
Ew.
That does look like they've sort of cobbled all of the parts together, but okay. Fair enough.
It has wheels, therefore it's a vehicle.
Yeah, you know what it looks like? It looks like the rod pod out of More Than Meets the Eye.
Oh my god, it does too.
But only around the face, right? It was funny. So Brad doesn't know this, but in the More Than Meets the Eye comics, Rodimus is so up himself that he has the escape ship designed to look like his head. which is why it's called the rod pod. So yeah.
Question.
Excuse me. Yes.
Is anyone else sick of the Power Master, Jinrai, Target Master, whatever Prime? I'm just sick of seeing this. I've got no interest in this.
I'll be honest. I'm not really interested in it, but there are plenty of people who say I'm not interested because I much prefer a classic G1 look, which is why I've got Striker Manus and I don't really care for any others. I prefer that classic G1 look, and I always felt like the Power Master looked like they'd bolted way too much stuff on, just trying to make him look bigger and meaner and stronger. Yeah,
different to G1 Prime. Yeah.
Look, there are definitely people for whom
the Divine Suit parts to go with Thunder Erebus.
Yeah.
But I won't deny.
There are people for whom this look is an instant must buy, and I can look at it and appreciate it, but I don't really want it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great detailed figure. It's got the articulation that G1 Power Master Prime is the emphasis of brick, but this looks fine. But it seems Hasbro done the Titan Master, and then they've redone it, and now we've got all this other stuff coming out of the woodwork. Takara have gone for God Bomber, God Jinrai, or whatever all that crap is, and there's a flood. There's a flood of this in the market at the moment, and I'm just not a fan at all.
You know what I'm not really a fan of? I'm not really a fan of the figures where you have a base figure that you then clip parts onto. But I don't really appreciate that much. I've never really appreciated the way that the cab sits in the Power Master Optimus Prime either. But also, I just feel like engineering wise, if you start clipping parts on, then as you move it, parts are going to fall off.
Yeah,
it's all about
because in a perfect world, a prototype will not stay together as well as it does in the real world. But anyway,
ideally, given modern toy engineering, they should be able to have it so you can just have a complete figure that transforms from fully combined mode to the vehicle mode to the regular robot mode with minimal parts forming.
They can. It's called Power of the Prime's Evolution mode.
Well, they're taking a leaf out of Hollywood at the moment. It's just stupid. We've got the Takara, Power Master Prime. But hey, it's not wholly complete because there's going to be a sequel, because we've got a trilogy planned. You're going to get a God Bomber and whatever the other add-on for it is as well, and you have to get them all. At least they sell them all together for if you make toys, right? Well, at least Takara have released and not gone, no, we're just going to reboot it at the second part and leave you with Terminator Genesis.
I have no idea what you just said.
Anyway, don't worry about it.
Okay, let's move on. We are going to take a little U-turn and go back to Mastermind Creations. Now, during the week, this shot of their apparent version of Grimlock was found on 4chan by none other than Max, who managed to leak it. Who managed to submit it to TFW, and you now have 7,043 views.
Hey, I'm special.
And credit.
So this is actually the first time MMC's gone to a Dinobot, I believe.
Yeah, I think
they probably shouldn't.
Closest they've done is their oh god, I forgot the name. Predaking.
Yeah.
What's the Combiner team name again?
I
Predacons.
wouldn't call that a Dinobot.
I don't mind actually. Like I think he looks pretty good for a somewhat comic style Grimlock, but it's actually been a while since I've really seen Grimlock in the comics. So I'm not really sure how accurate this is.
Yeah,
and also, you know, in the
it's
comics,
pretty close, except for I guess years
some
on
things you don't read.
Yeah, but this.
What's your point?
Which comic? Which comic?
The IDW comics. He's come up in a few of them.
The IDW ongoing, not Exodus, not.
It doesn't. Don't try to make out like you know what they are. It's fine.
I'm not. I'm trying to put words to a title. So
Grimlock has shown up in a few titles, and I believe is he currently hanging out with what's the alternate Lost Light crew, Max?
The Scavengers.
The Scavengers. Is he still hanging out with the Scavengers now?
Yeah, he was in a Revolution tie-in where they all wound up on Earth.
Oh yeah, I don't care about the tie-ins.
This figure's based on his design from those couple issues of Marvel Meets the Eye has been in, and his design for a Maximum Dinobots. Yeah,
cool. I don't actually mind it so much. I don't think it's had the warmest. I don't think it's had the warmest reception from fans.
I think it's just because it's such a departure from regular G1 style Grimlocks.
Well, there's your problem there. You're looking at something that's not G1, which.
Well, I think the people who are buying MMC's reformatted line are quite happy to have figures that are not actually G1 representations of things. I mean, they've really welcomed the DJD figures that More Than Meets the Eye put into the comic exclusively. So, I think people who are on board the MMC train by now will be more than happy to see this and buy it. And also, they do sort of have a better track record of announcing figures and getting them out than the other guys, right?
Yeah, there's very little that they've announced that hasn't actually made it to production.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've seen a similar, like a Force Cybertron type look to it. I posted in the group how pretty much any dinosaur T-Rex mode figure we've ever had, the tail has always been too stumpy and short, where this has probably gone 40% the wrong way. I love the Force Cybertron sort of ends of the tail, but then there's just the other half of it is just bulk on his ass. It's just I don't know.
If I had to hazard a guess how it works, it looks like the ends of the tail sort of come out of his legs, and then the lower legs fold up and around the upper legs. Sort of.
Yeah, I love the articulated sections of the tail, but just between that and the hips, it was just there's a lot of girth there that I just don't. It looks weird.
The tail looks fantastic. It almost looks like a sort of SH Monster Arts tail, where they've just got a ball joint in wherever they can.
I think there's. I think the dinosaur mode pictures are not doing this figure any justice. Like, he doesn't have to be leaning forward as far as he is. He can stand up a lot more and be a sort of much more traditional T-Rex design, I think.
Well, this isn't even a 3D CAD model. This is something looks hand drawn.
No,
this looks hand drawn, doesn't it?
I reckon this is a CAD model.
Okay. Well, it's a very detailed, lot more detailed than what we got from Hasbro.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what you can do with some textures.
Oh yeah, good point.
So the other reason I think it's rendered is because the eyes appear to be glowing.
Yeah.
And
I don't like.
Doesn't really do light piping or anything.
I don't like the images at the bottom to show the head articulation, where you get a massive gap in the neck.
Yeah, it kind of looks
all right. It's just a couple of the positions, it really cuts into the sculpt.
Yeah. Again, that might be just the way it's currently designed. It might change, but yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at, but I also think, like you're not going to be looking at this figure from directly above. So
Yeah.
as you move that around with that articulation, like I think it will look fine depending on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, that's it. Where's the photo from looking up underneath where we see all the robot kibble in the chest? And
he's not a car. Anyway, so
the thing about head joint is that there's nothing you can really do about that unless they wanted to put like a sort of a floating piece over top of a joint. Yeah. But then that's going to really get in the way of transformation.
Yeah. But then you sort of look at the G1 Grimlock where you got that sort of sliding hinge at the back of his head where you can sort of do the up and down and the rotate left and right.
Well, so I mean, part of the thing with G1 Grimlock is that that's sort of covered up by his transformation process as well. So,
that whole thing comes off. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's early days. I don't think this is. I don't think this is due out until about December or so. So, we'll see.
Of next year?
No, reformatted stuff generally comes out pretty fast.
Okay, all right.
If we look here, it says it's still in development there. So,
you say reformatted stuff comes out pretty fast, but
it does.
What about Tyrantron?
What about Tyrantron? I think he's come out in the order in which he was meant to all along.
It was supposed to come out in May.
Yeah, May, September. At least they brought out other figures in the meantime, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. No, being a Dinobot, we'll report back on this when we get some in-hand images or when it's ready to ship.
When someone gets their hand on it.
What they do with interested to see what they do with the rest of them. The other 6, but.
All right, last bit of toy news, Brad. This one especially interests you. This is the Unique Toys Masterpiece Style Onslaught. Now he's definitely looking good on the detail front, and he's got these nice big feet with good ankle tilts to, sort of he's quite articulated. Looks quite big and strong.
He's certainly got a lot of glue.
Not sure about that gap in the ankles there.
Yeah. Swindle. I'm not liking Swindle at all. But my whole point with this in the pre-show was a lot of people have got the oversized. Whoever done it.
The Jinbao Orbitron Bruticus. Yeah, look, I'm looking at mine up on the shelf now.
Yeah. Would you ever be compelled to buy another?
No.
Another Bruticus. It's just
not at all. But not because I have the Jinbao one. It's just like I don't need more combiners.
But design-wise,
no, I don't care I don't care about the design. Like I don't really care that much about Bruticus. But I like the design of the bots, but I just think there's too many combiners out there already. The third-party combiner scene has gone stupidly crazy, and to a degree, I think you're right. Like people will have bought the Jinbao Bruticus, but I also think you might be overestimating how many of those got sold because they were produced in such limited runs that they became quite sought after. So that to me seems to indicate that there's not that many people with them out there. There's been 2 runs that we know of so far. Maybe there's been a third in the intervening months since I got mine. But they're really quite big and they're really quite expensive to ship, regardless of how cheap they are to actually purchase.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if you're not around Asia, then the Jinbao Bruticus and stuff is probably not in your collection or even on your radar. So maybe these sort of more masterpiece style figures. Now you got to remember the Jinbao one is huge. It's way oversized. It's bigger than Combiner Wars Devastator. These guys are going to be smaller and they're masterpiece style. So yeah.
But then don't forget also we've got the Toy World one that's been hinted at in the past. It's going to be over $600, and it's going to be the same sort of size. The masterpiece scaled combiners aren't Devastator size; they're bigger.
I reckon they're about the same or smaller, just a touch. Because the oversized Bruticus is like just a head taller than Devastator.
Well, that Gravity Toys Devastator and their
leave him alone. He's armless.
Bruticus. Oh, just like my Devastator.
So So what's going on? These are unique toys, and they haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like Tell World, they haven't concentrated on the arms that we're missing Vortex and Blast Off. Which, looking at that, it's a fine looking onslaught. Ridiculous.
It is indeed pretty nice, isn't it?
It is. I just wonder how many times we're going to keep on going to this and not even touch on the G1 well. But anyway, we've talked about this in the past about IP.
Yes.
If you're gonna rip it off, just do it. Do G1 all the way. Don't worry about detail. Just do a screen accurate G1.
Not sure that I necessarily agree with that. If you're going to make a large figure and you go for G1 without detail and blockiness and stuff, it's going to be pretty obvious, and I don't think people will like it that much.
Well, we've never seen anything more of that Soap Studios stuff, but okay.
We have. Like they're coming out. Anyway, let's have a look at this stuff. So
one thing not in any of our recent purchases for the last 2 weeks, even though it's out.
It's not going to be in my recent purchases at all, unless someone gives it to me, in which case it ain't a purchase.
There's a good reason for that.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can buy Transformers The Last Night at the moment. So TFW has pointed out that there are 14 different versions, and they've put up a video explaining them all. We're not going to go through them all, but holy crap, there's a lot there. And there's also this the artwork that we're seeing here is actually from
that's the 4K Steelbox.
Yes, that's the one. But this is the collection and stuff there, because like you got Sam holding up the Allspark there and everyone as well. So this artwork is not just for The Last Night, but 14 different versions of the DVD. If you have a look in the run sheet, there is a link to this story from TFW, the master list. So standard releases is DVD plus digital, Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital, Blu-ray 3D plus Blu-ray plus digital, 4K Ultra HD plus Blu-ray plus digital, 5 movie collection, Blu-ray plus digital, Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital plus bag. And there's also an exclusive release, which is the Best Buy Steelbook 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray plus digital, the Best Buy Steelbook 5 movie collection, Blu-ray plus digital, the Best Buy Steelbook Blu-ray plus digital, Target exclusive art Blu-ray plus digital, Walmart Diecast Cars Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital, Walmart 360 Video 4K Ultra HD plus Blu-ray plus digital, Toys R Us Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital, plus the Toys R Us DVD plus digital.
Can someone spray him down? He's starting to smoke.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about this is that all the exclusive releases, save for Toys R Us, are from stores that don't exist in Australia. So
yeah.
Unknown whether or not these are actually going to come our way at all, or if we care. What we can reveal, they go on. Yeah.
Oh, that's just like the Steelbook 5 movie collection's got 80 minutes of bonus content on it, whether that's previous stuff that's been rehashed. We do have the next story is something that we can sort of include in this as well.
I was about to get to that. We also do have a really good reason not to buy the
Target one.
Not to buy the Target one, which is that so you'll see it says feature film on Blu-ray plus over 80 minutes of bonus content,
which comes on the Steelbook. Which is
I think you might find that some of that 80 minutes of bonus content is Transformers Combinable.
So you can watch Transformers The Last Night, and just when you think it couldn't get any worse, you move on to this.
We commented last week when we were talking about week before when we were talking about the Titans Return, how Combinables has disappeared from existence. Well, this is
why.
Yeah. If you liked it, if you want to revisit it, if you're
you will get it for free with the Target exclusive version of The Last Night.
Yeah.
If you're in America, I don't know how the hell this is going to work in Australia.
Well, yeah, that's nothing too. I might go buy a Target one tomorrow, and it won't even be included. Look on the back, but it's just great. Like I'm all for bonus features and everything else. I don't need to buy a 5-pack, but if the Target one's got combinables and the 80 minutes of behind-the-scenes footage,
No.
I can only
I
assume.
think what you might find is that on the Target exclusive one, it says that on this one includes over 80 minutes of bonus content. I believe Combiner Wars was 60 minutes long, just a little over 60. So
no!
Uh-huh.
Oh, you get the Combiner Wars deleted scenes.
It should have been the whole thing.
Interesting that rumored 40 minutes of cut footage is not in any of these.
Actually, apparently, Combiner Wars is the cut footage from the last night.
Ew.
Actually, so yeah, that is an interesting point. So none of these actually mention the runtime of the movie, unless the previous story says something about it.
No.
So it's kind of funny. Like they say, there's 14 different versions of the movie. It's actually not the different versions of the movie. It's actually 14 different releases of the movie.
Where you go to iTunes, you got 2 straight up.
Yeah. Are they different versions of the movie?
Well, one's a standard edition, one's high def. I'm guessing that's a different version.
But it's the same movie.
Yeah, well.
Does it say in here somewhere?
Oh.
It doesn't have the running time. This is basic stuff. Come on, Paramount, whatever.
I'm saying what their audio is.
Yeah. Let's be very specific about the audio.
The raw treatment Transformers in the UK. That's the special features. Merging mythologies, explore the secrets of Transformers history. That'd be interesting to see.
No. Right, let's move on. That is about it for news this week. New news. New acquisitions. I haven't got any. Brad, you haven't got any. Max. By the way,
yes, I do.
Happy birthday, Max! And I'm guessing
happy birthday, Max.
I'm guessing that the new acquisitions are part of the birthday event that occurred for you this week.
No such luck. I think it's tangentially related, which was the NECA Ultimate Predator, who was voiced by Peter Cullen. So there we go. It's close enough.
Go to Peter Cullen at a convention and get him to sign that. See if it scares the shit out of him.
Apparently, it was an uncredited role, which was kind of surprising because there's a really good voice acting there.
Mm-hmm.
But it went up in the group for sale the other day, which was just little slingshots for Tiny to Turn Really by
cool.
Renderform.
Mm-hmm.
Managed to pick up one of these for $3 posted. It's just a nice little add-on. Really increases the posing potential that you get with him. It's solid plastic. It feels official, so I'm quite happy with that. And then the big thing I got this week was Make Toys had their sort of 5th anniversary sale, where they discounted just about everything on their website. And included in that
I didn't even realize this.
Was
still going on? I need to buy some things.
Oh no, it's over now. I got it on the last day. But they had their make their rear end and Hurricane add-on kit, which is their version of IDW Tailgate, and the add-on kit to create IDW Cyclonus.
Yeah, I've got that one too. He's really good.
Yeah, so the Cyclonus is really nice. I put it on my Henkei Cyclonus, and while the colors don't really match, the base figure uses a few different shades of purple anyway. So it ends up coming out really nicely, and it's solidly built and everything.
I actually feel like that comes off quite nicely, actually.
Yeah, because it's sort of, you get a couple different tints on the forearms and the knees anyway, so it matches up pretty much exactly with the hip skirts and the new head sculpt. Only issue is obviously scale. It doesn't fit it. It's a fairly small figure compared to a lot of the other third-party Lost Light crew. And then it's also, the sword is way too tight. You just constantly feel like you're going to break it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's really hard to actually put in his hand.
But other than that, it is a really solid set. Especially so because of Tailgate, which is just about perfect. You get an alternate crying face and alternate blown off legs. This thing, it's tiny. It's about legend scale, but it looks like it jumped right off a page. It's so accurate and really, really expressive. Just on account of how much posability there is. Like, he's got a ball joint and a hinge in a neck. He's got double jointed knees, 2 joints in the ankles, friggin' ab crunch.
It's pretty. It's pretty amazing at that scale as well.
Yeah, like the plastic on him feels sort of brittle, but it hasn't shown any signs of breaking. So like, it feels like it's going to break, but it's held up. Getting into all sorts of poses. So I don't know. It feels like a poor quality plastic, but it shows no signs of being that. So I guess it's kind of odd, but still a really, really nice figure.
I find
the only thing is I paid about 75 ship for it, and that's the lowest price I've ever seen this thing. And don't pay that much.
So, as far as plastic quality goes, I feel like a lot of Make Choice stuff shares that same type of plastic. It's not, they don't have the same plastic finish as sort of Hasbro or MMC, but it's also like it's distinctly Make Choice at the same time. Like if you pick it up, you can tell it's their figure.
Yeah, I sort of found it's a very similar feel to their Swerve, but also I've also got their versions. Their Cross Dimension Megatron and their version of Nemesis Prime.
Yeah.
And the plastic on those feels a lot more solid than these guys. It feels more in line with official stuff. So
I don't know. Like
it might be between different lines of different designers.
I feel like it's all Make Choice plastic, but yeah, no. Look, the Cross Dimension stuff I think holds together rather well, but yeah, I don't know. Like I've always been able to tell what's made by Make Choice when I pick it up.
It's a lot of it is also their signature style is supposability. Like you pick up something and it just gets in any pose you want it to, because it's a defining characteristic of the company. Yeah, on the whole, really solid.
Excellent. Brad, you said that you actually do have something that you acquired this week.
Oh, finally. Come on, little guy. Come on, there you go. Last week on Sunday when I come back from Melbourne, I pulled into a semi-local retailer and must be Leader Megatron. They had the Leader Megatron Leader Prime on clearance at Kmart for $65, and after just seeing it at Myer for $89, I had to get it. And there is some contention. Got the Voyager one here. While I was at the meetup on the weekend, I think Adam had his Weijing oversized Voyager one there, and if you're paying the money, that Weijing Voyager oversized is the bot to go for. But you can, like, the biggest complaints, the arm cannons, obviously. Where's that button? Oh, his face gimmick thing. So just the head turns in itself. And it's not going to stay out. But I can quite do with the oversized one for not having that gimmick at all. It's a gimmick. That's all it is. He's got his big axe blade thing, but it feels a lot like that Age of Extinction Prime, where it's a bot that the shell sort of comes in and closes. The engineering is a little bit better, but yeah, but
he comes with the exhaust and fire things, which you've put to good use by attaching them to bludgeon, the RID bludgeon there.
Yeah. Also brought the young fella, he wanted a Lego set or this, and he got the RID bludgeon. Never got the Revenge of the Fallen bludgeon. Even this is just, I'll get your He-Man. But it's just Skeletor. I'm sure this has some sort of comic reference, but I don't care. It's a nice looking bot. Good alt mode. On Sunday while I was in town, on Monday while I was in town, I put ROD at Target were down from $29 to $24. So Bumblebee, Grimlock, Thermidor, Quillfire, Windblade, and a couple others all went on the lay-by for Christmas. So I'm about to get swamped by ROD figures. I gave the young fella the ROD Windblade and the Titans Return Windblade, and he wanted the ROD one, and I agreed with him. The Titans Return one looked a little bit fat in the ass, so I got the ROD one. So
fair enough. I find having watched it a bit more now, I actually find that I do quite appreciate the RID Warrior figures quite a lot. They are quite fun. I've still got Sideswipe and Megatronus up on the top shelf up there. I like their clean lines, and I like the fact that they look like the cartoon. So yeah.
Well, more so because the ROD Windblade is a character, which is enjoyable, whereas the Titans Return one, the only thing you can really link that to is Combinivores, which she's unlikable, and I'm sure in Titans Return she's going to be even less unlikable, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when I get there. I don't know Headmaster. Windblade.
Cool. All right. I think we're about done. We've come in at a little over an hour, so I think it was quite good for the amount of news that we had this week.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Yes, we did knock out half the run sheet before we started, so fair enough. It is membership renewal season for the club. If you were a member last year and you appreciate the effort that the club puts into running live events, keeping the Facebook discussion group running, anything club related, please consider donating $5 to the membership drive this year. You will get access to exclusive members only giveaways, and you get a nice little membership pack with some collector's cards with artwork by Justin Massaru, who is on the group and is an all-round top bloke. So if you appreciate the work that members of the club are putting into running all of these events every weekend for the last month and even on to the next couple of weeks, please consider chucking us $5.
Yeah, we got 2 more events coming up in the next 2 weeks. Border Dimensions, a local convention here, is up next week. Max, you've got a local event there happening next
week as well.
This is coming in a couple of days on this coming Monday. So I've sort of been preparing for that day. We'll be at the Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair, which will be at Christian Brothers College in the Adelaide CBD. TCA will be in sort of a back left corner of the convention. So please, if you're in the area, come say hi. Yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah. We got a couple of events planned for the end of the year. So you got that, and Supernova Adelaide, of course, is coming up in November as well. So
Max is going to be busy.
Things happening for the year. Yeah, Max is busy.
All right, that is it. We are at the end of the show. Thank you for listening. Transformers Weekly is produced by Transformers Collectors Club Australia. That is Australian Transformers Weekly. We're not associated with the other Transformers Weekly. I don't even know if the other Transformers Weekly exists, but I should just get the name right. You can find the TCCA website at transformerscca.com, and you can also find the podcast on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Please head over there, give us a review, and if you can't find it in your podcatcher of choice, you will find the RSS feed on the website and in the show notes. You can also find our new podcast. Does it count as new anymore? Not sure. Transformers Legends you will find on Facebook and the TCCA YouTube channel, and you can find it at its website, which is tflpod.podbean.com. That's aimed at slightly younger stuff. So Brad and his son will be discussing all things RID and tiny bots and tiny takes.
Yeah.
That is it. That is it for the show. Thank you for listening. And some of us will be back next week, while some of us, me, will be in Toys R Us in San Francisco, attempting to pick up a Titans Return RC.
Best of luck.
Hey, Jet Setter.
Thank you. All right. That is it. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Catch you later.
See you guys.